Welcome, welcome, welcome to a brand new episode of Her Renewed Mind. I'm your host, Dr. Candice, and this is a space and place where you're going to receive encouragement for your beautiful mind. And I'm so grateful. Yes, I have to scream to have my sister, and we have the same last name, so she's really my sister, y'all. I'm so grateful to have my sister, Lettie Bailey-Johnson. I'm saying her full name on Her Renewed Mind. Welcome, Lettie, to the podcast.
Well, thank you, Dr. Candice. It is a joy, an honor, and most of all, just an appreciation for the opportunity to share space with you, and to really just be able to love on each other.
Yeah.
Some spaces you just walk into and it's going to be love and going to be good, juicy conversation.
So good. Thank you, Letty, so much. I didn't share this with you before we hit record because I was like, I'm holding it close because it needs to be shared worldwide through this podcast, through these airwaves, and through YouTube. So I was, of course, on social. I shouldn't say of course, but I was on social media on Facebook, and I was looking at my memories, and it was this week, Letty, and it was a picture of our coaching group from was it January 2019, and you were leading us. It was one, two, maybe five or six ladies, and it was downtown Louisville where your offices used to be, and we were walking through the book, the John Maxwell book, Put Your Dream to the Test.
Oh,
And so it
yeah.
was you had posted, it was a selfie of us, and we were all, of course, smiling big. It might have been the last class or maybe the first class. And then the next picture you posted was of us holding the flip chart paper with our name. And I was trying to zoom in because I was like, what did I write on this paper? I could see my name big, but as I zoomed in, I couldn't really see the words. I saw a few words, but I imagined that you had us write down like our gifts and our strengths. And I was
Mm.
like, I get to spend time with my Letty. Yes, y'all, my Letty. And this was earlier this week. And I was like, I cannot wait to tell you that. And I thank you
Uh,
because that was 2019. So that was what, 7 years ago?
yeah, girl.
Yeah,
Oof.
I know. I know. And I am so grateful to be connected to you. And I always say this that I'm like, Letty was my first coach. So you're always my coach, and you're a coach's coach.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate your pour. I appreciate and I love how you say this, and not only do you say this, but I am a witness that you do this because I'm a recipient. Is that you add value to people and you encourage us, the people, organizations, leaders, so on and so forth.
Everybody.
Everybody, right? Because you're a
Everybody.
value-based leader, so you're pouring the value in so that we can then go and pour value into others. And so, y'all, I just want to say it loud and proud that I am who I am because of
Mm.
Coach Letty and
To God
others.
be
And
the
you all know
glory.
I've talked about the other mentors and coaches in my life. But I remember, and I'm gonna turn it over to you because I can go with this. But I think we met when you were working at Simmons. Is that right? Is that how we first met? Or did we meet before then?
Girl, I got menopause brain, so I can't even begin to tell you. Candace, I'm not.
Okay, let me, here it is. Here it is, y'all. I think met Letty when I was working for Kia. So I was out and about at a lot of schools, a lot of college fairs, and Letty worked for Simmons College of Kentucky, our HBCU here in the city. But also, we attended sister churches. So Letty was very active at her
Right.
church, and I was active at my church. So I think we were meeting in those veins as well. So this
I
was,
think so too.
yeah,
Yeah, I think so too. Because we both, church babies,
yeah, of
and
course.
I worked for the church, for 20 plus years. And so I think we just, because of relationships and
Yep.
things like that, I think our paths crossed. So
Cross,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and I'm grateful that they did, y'all. In the season I was in, God just knows how to bring the people that you need to you. and you were operating in your gifting, and I was able just like this, just hands out. Okay. So you all have heard me talk about Letty and give flowers, and I will continue to do that in this conversation. But Letty, I'd love for you to share more about who you are and what you do.
Well, thank you for that. And, I just want to publicly say again, thank you for having me on the podcast because, it's one thing when I get invitations from people who see me from the stage or see me, in community in the way that they think but it's a whole different level of respect when people have journeyed alongside of you or who are in deep relationship with you,
Yeah.
right? Because that can be trusted, right? When people see me on the stage, that's a one and done maybe, right?
Yeah.
But those who want to support you and continue to pour into you and vice versa, it's a different type of respect. So yeah, I'm the CEO and founder of Gifted by Design Leadership and Consulting, based and headquartered here in Louisville, Kentucky. However, though, we are a global leadership firm. God has just honored us in so many ways that I cannot even begin or imagine. This podcast would not be long enough for me to say that, but I am a leadership coach, consultant, speaker, author, human behavioralist. I'm an executive director for the Maxwell brand. But ultimately, what I always tell people, I am a child of God first.
Yeah.
And I'm very passionate about helping organizations and individuals to transform inside out, right? In alignment to what their greater cause is, right? And so the reason why people say I'm a coach of coaches is because I'm always trying to help people to align to their greater cause. And
Yeah.
so, see, this is what happens with the camera.
I see. I saw that zoom in. But it's okay. You're looking good, girl. You're looking good.
Let me zoom out. Let me zoom out. Let me zoom out.
Honey, you was making your point. It said, come on, we need her to come in a little bit closer. Lean
But
in. Okay. Lean in to this. Go ahead.
I'm a coach of coaches because I really truly do believe in the potential and capacity of every person and that
Yeah.
they get to contribute to the greater cause. And we need practitioners to facilitate that process,
Yeah.
right? In
Mhm.
a safe and psychological way, rooted in our values. And all of us, every one of us has to be doing our work. So, and Gifted by Design is a values-based leadership firm that I founded, and we focus on organizational health, resilience, human behavior. What I love to talk about more than anything is building beloved workplaces and
Yeah.
communities.
Yeah.
Building beloved workplaces and communities.
Yeah.
And so our audience it starts as early as third grade, it goes all the way to senior adults. And we're in all nine influences of business. So that's nonprofits, healthcare, education, government, corporate spaces. And we really value and pride ourselves on helping people to align to their greater cause and
Yeah.
to what their mission, vision, and values are.
So good. So good. Thank you. On behalf of the people. Thank you. Because I know you too, and I know, and I what I love, what I love is that not only do I know you, but that I know other people that I'm close to that know you. And we all are like, man, that's Letty. She's dope. She's impacted me. Here's how she poured into me. Here's how she's led. Right. And so it's been fun to
I
have.
want to hear those conversations.
I know. I get again. I have stuff I'm holding to my chest that I get to say out loud on this podcast right here in front of your face. Okay. So let me ask you this, Letty. And I shared like kind of when we first met and where I was. I'm not going to go into all the details because there was also personal things going on, and that bleeds into work too. So I really do appreciate how God connected us in the season that I was in, because I looked up to you. I learned of what you were doing and just how you operated, even from, of course, in how you led at church through the work you did at church, but then also what you were doing at Simmons and helping to build processes and systems there while you were there, and leaving it in beautiful hands. But I want to know, what made you first passionate about helping people discover their gifts and helping them to lead from that place of knowing how they're gifted and gifted by design?
Yeah, so I think first, Candice, I think that I always go back to my personal intersection, right, of having people who believed in me, right? And they see my potential and um allow me to have the freedom and the access to tap into my own five psychological needs, to discover what way I could best contribute to humanity, how I can contribute to individuals. I think, the journey has to start with your self leadership, right? And so when I think about helping people, I think we all are called to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we begin to reframe that there's anything different, um, then we'll move from transactional to more transformational in our walk, in our talk, right?
True.
And so at the end of the day, um, helping people is what is a responsibility we all have. Now, how we help people, that's my responsibility to figure that out, right? And so my responsibility, I'm always in love with people, have
Mm-hmm.
always been in love with all people. I believe that we all should have access to live the best life that
Yeah.
God has granted us,
Yeah.
right? So that requires some healing, right?
Yeah.
And the evolution of healing, but it also requires the unlearning and the relearning of who we are and what God has called us to be as it relates to not only the calling that we have, but the assignment that we are to fulfill.
Can you explain the difference between how would you define calling versus assignment?
Yeah. So calling is it's rooted in the greater cause, right? In terms of what you've been called to do. We've been called, right, and set apart for a particular assignment.
Mm-hmm.
And that assignment is where our gifts and the facilitation of our own healing manifests itself so that we can make a difference in our communities, in our homes, in our workplaces.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one of the greater things that I'm always clear about is that I am a recipient of God's grace, but not only am I a recipient of it, I have a responsibility to help disciple other people. And
Mm-hmm.
Gifted by Design is clearly, Gifted by Design is the discipleship process wrapped up in the calling.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And the assignment is for every person who we come in contact with, whether it be someone in the community, whether it be someone at a luncheon, what wherever it
Yeah.
is, that is the assignment for that moment. And we have a responsibility to steward that because ultimately it impacts the calling in which we have been given, and all of us have a calling.
Mm-hmm. So good. So good. So good. Thank you so much. You said this, as you were sharing more about who you are, and I love this. I love this so much because of who I am, and I understand that love is the foundation, and God is love. So whether it is, um, a business organization, or even someone who recognizes God or not, they understand love, right? They can probably hopefully can define love, and they can also define what love is not. So I want you to talk about what does it look like? What does a beloved
Mhm.
workplace look like? What does that look like? Tell us practically, because I think all of us, and maybe someone listening is like, oh, you know what? I would say that where I work is a beloved workplace. And here's how I contribute to that. Here's how I could. Or they may be listening saying, no, you know what? We can use some help on becoming beloved, right? So
Yeah.
talk about what that looks like. and your work
Yes.
around helping workplaces tap into that.
Yeah. So let me just say this. A beloved workplace feels real human, right?
Mm,
Because at the center of love is humanity,
mm,
right? And it feels real psychologically safe.
yeah.
It feels driven by values. It feels healthy. It feels connected. People are seen and not just for what they produce, but for who
Mm-hmm.
they are.
Mm-hmm.
There's trust, there's accountability, there's compassion. Um, there's just so much that I have cultivated around these 5 points. And these real good points, okay? Because this is really the emphasis of what not only the work that we do, but the book that I wrote of
Mm-hmm.
reimagining community leadership. And it's it's spilling over into just about everything
Yeah.
that I touch, right? And
Yeah.
that is the 5 psychological needs. And those needs really are stimulated through power, freedom, recognition, enjoyment, and belonging. Power, freedom, recognition,
Y'all taking notes? Listen, because I am.
enjoyment, and belonging, right? And so, when you as an individual, you know what your level and lens of power is
Mm-hmm.
and how you can access that, um, and that goes for all of them. If one of the psychological needs is out of place, then that means that you are going to be misaligned. And
Huh.
that misalignment is fluid. You can be misaligned for a day, a
Yeah.
week, and you know,
Yeah.
but when we're clear, that's where our confidence can show up,
Come
right?
on.
And
Yeah.
so the foundation of who we are and our self worth, right, is rooted in those 5 psychological needs. And so the work that we do, whether it be if it's a organization, we have a data informed approach as to how we look at an organization, look at a team, look at leadership, to help them to navigate towards becoming more beloved, right? Or to become beloved, because there
Yeah.
are, I can, and I'm a high empath, and I can walk into an environment, and I
Yeah.
can tell you, right? No, 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 no.
Yeah.
This is not beloved.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. It's on the opposite spectrum, end of the
It's on the
spectrum.
opposite
Yeah.
spectrum, right?
Mm.
But we have data informed practices that support, right, our work.
Yeah.
Because we don't do anything. I don't coach people without having data, because my job is to raise and evoke awareness. My job is not to come in and tell you what to do. Now,
On
even
now.
as a consultant, which I'm both, right? I'm a consultant, I'm also a coach, I'm also a human behavioralist. So, but as a consultant, yes, I have walked a walk and I understand what it takes for an organization to be healthy. But the sustainability and capacity building has to come from the people that are inside of the organization.
Absolutely.
So it's really important to me, that we are aligned in the truth of what it means to be a beloved
Hmm.
organization, what it means to be beloved people,
Hmm.
and how that ultimately really fans out into what we call the culture and who the culture carriers are.
Yeah. That's so good, Letty. So I'm thinking about, the woman who's listened to this. What advice would you give? And she is, maybe she's not CEO, but she's an employee, maybe she's a manager in her workplace. And she is thinking, I hear you and I want to take ownership. Or I feel maybe she feels like she already is taking ownership, but just hearing this new language is eye-opening. So, what would you suggest to be like a practical first step into her going into her work environment and showcasing love?
Well, the first thing that I would say is, um, get clear about the love that you have been shown,
Hmm.
right? Everything from my lens starts within, right? And it is a journey to understand what love is for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for me, love is a form of justice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, which is why I am always, I have been put off committees. I've turned down contracts. Contracts have been taken away because I'm always going to err on the side of justice,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because justice provides an opportunity and space for all people to exist.
Mm-hmm.
And so the clarity that a woman or an individual needs to really explore is asking the question, what does love mean to and for me?
Hmm.
How have I received it?
Mm-hmm.
How has it love taken care of me? Because then you can, from that lens, you can then know what your capacity is in terms of offering that love.
Yeah, that's good.
We can't give what we don't have.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah.
lot of times, you people want unconditional love, but have you given unconditional love? Have you explored unconditional love?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to that particular individual? What does it mean to exist in a beloved community? What does it mean to exist in a beloved culture and workplace?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that requires growth, health, unlearning, relearning,
Yeah.
and accountability
Yeah.
and transparency and vulnerability, right? So what does it really mean for you to be able to hold space for that?
Yeah.
Because we have to decrease ourselves so that others can increase, and know that that doesn't take, you shine, I shine, that don't take away. I want you to shine.
Yeah.
And that's a different perspective as to how we have been socialized in this world and how we move, particularly as of late, in terms of politics, how we move forward with humanity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, kind of on that vein, because we're living in 2026, right? And you are about community and not just, as you mentioned, here in Louisville, but across the globe. And Gifted by Design is a global organization. And so, what do you feel like are some of the needs that leaders have right now? What are you seeing?
Ooh. I'm glad you that's a good question, coach. That's a good question. So one thing that leaders need, right? They need space to be able to be vulnerable,
We
right?
just talked about vulnerability because it takes work.
It takes work. It takes
Yeah.
work. And vulnerability, listen, it takes vulnerability will you will gain so much access to wellness, and that's physical
Mhm.
and mental and
Yes.
emotional and
Yes.
spiritually, as well as resilience, right? Because and this is where I am, every year the way we run, we run our organization is that
Mhm.
I spend time, uh I'm always going to say I'm a person of faith, and my relationship with God is number one, which is the conviction of that leads me to fulfillment, and which is my purpose. And so my purpose, particularly, so every year during the month, between the months of October and December, I am uh probably closer to God than any other time in my life, because I am trying to hear, and I'm watching, and I'm waiting for the download so that I know in the direction that I am to lead
Mm,
the organization. I
mhm,
am to influence people as a result of all of that. And so in 2025, what I realized that God had said to me, He said, Lettie, resilience is a key that will unlock the door for many folks.
huh.
But He also said, there's this thing around housing and health and wellness that is really important to how we help to move forward for the sake of Generation Alpha, Z, and all the others that's coming after us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that clarity is really where I lead from when
Yeah.
I make
Ooh.
decisions, when I um, really when I'm moving towards ultimately what is the thing, right? What is this
Mm-hmm.
thing? So resilience stands out a lot. The first it stood out. Let me say it
Mm-hmm.
stood out
Mm-hmm.
from January to May, right? And I do still think I feel very strongly about resilience,
Yeah.
but it's rooted, and I'm happy to share, here on your podcast that I just recently became board licensed in mental health coaching, so that we can help heal and facilitate a space of healing for individuals to be able uh, to do their work at
Yeah.
the end of the day.
Yeah.
And there's more that's coming. There is so much more that's
Yeah.
coming. That's just one facet. But a responsible leader? A responsible leader is going to do what they need to do in order to be able to make the greatest impact. And so that's, ultimately when I think about the needs of leaders
Mm-hmm.
in this moment in time,
Mm-hmm.
I think that we forget that just because we have access, right? As leaders, we have access. We have a lot of access to a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't necessarily mean that we've created the psychological safe space and the vulnerability for an individual to do their work. And so that's kind of where I am right now.
Yeah, I love that. Couple of things that blessed me by what I'm blessed by what you said. And I think it's also because I read an article earlier about the grace effect. One of Shay Bynes, I have her book actually right here, but she helps businesses, organizations in terms of leadership as well. And something that I read, she talked about, taking time and taking space for reflection. And so what you're sharing, because I asked, what the needs are for leaders, and you just shared your process of I take this time, at the end of the year to sit and listen, because of the conviction you have, the faith that you have, to receive the download about how Gifted by Design needs to move forward and bring that impact and transformation that people and organizations need moving forward. That is so, so powerful. And I think that I'm like getting a download in real time. So bear with me. I think that I think and you know this because you work with organizations. I mean, or do you think that leaders wish they had the space and time to be able to do that?
Oh yeah, particularly in this. I mean, how how fast our world is
Hmm.
moving is mind-boggling. Like it literally is mind-boggling how quickly our world is changing, how uh it's all your head is literally on a swivel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So and what's at play, right? We have the uncertainty, we have of everything. I don't
Hmm.
care what your intersections or your identity is. Everybody is feeling some level of uncertainty.
Hmm.
Everybody.
Hmm.
And so I think, you know, and I'm a fan of AI, and I'm a fan of innovation and
Yeah.
technology, but
Yeah.
it's also sped up our world, right? And which is why, you know, wellness and mental health is so important,
Hmm.
because Lord knows prior to AI, we needed it, but we need it even more.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need help even
Yeah.
more now than
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. Man, so good. Could you talk more about vulnerability and what that means to you and what that looks like in a beloved workplace and community?
Yeah, vulnerability is the willingness to be courageous,
Hmm.
right? The willingness to be courageous. Particularly because I think um, our socialization in so many ways has impacted us in our identity wheel and how we show up. That the courage that it takes to challenge that, or to challenge those identities to become or to be the best and the greatest human being that you facilitate,
Hmm.
right? You foster is really something that I have so much respect for individuals who say, I'm just I'm just going to be transparent with you. I don't have that answer. I'm just
Yeah.
willing to be courageous enough to say, let's ideate this thing together and let's figure it out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or the belief in of someone else. Like one of the things, about our relationship, I think I had so much belief from my village into what I could do
Hmm.
that I had enough to share.
Honey, you have, baby, didn't you? Don't you? It's overflow, sis. Yeah.
I have enough to share, and I knew that. Like I knew that, which is why we have a gift about design affiliates, right? Because I share, what I specifically mentor and bring along people who want to come along with me
Yeah.
to help me and support each other in changing the world or transforming the world. And I think it takes a lot of belief, courage, to really live in the vein of uh, reimagining community, reimagining
Yeah.
workplaces.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm hosting a mastermind to the public.
Come on.
And no matter where an individual
Yeah.
is, they can be a part of this mastermind that will facilitate this space of them being able to be and to learn and to be vulnerable. And I'm going to ensure that the psychological safeness is there. If anybody knows me, I'm going to hold that down, right? But I wrote a book because I was moving so fast in 2024 that I was like, I need a way that I can write a love letter to community,
Mm.
that would help communities to really recognize that we can become whatever we're willing to become. We can become whatever we're willing to become. So if you're willing to be courageous, we can live in a courageous community, but we
On.
got to be willing to do the work,
Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
right? And so I wrote this book for that specifically. And I thought the Holy Spirit was going to allow me the opportunity to really mastermind and teach master classes and all of the things,
Hmm.
but that it wasn't time for that. But now is the time, right? Holy
Mm.
Spirit said, now is the time for you to put this in the hands of community
Community. Yeah.
and walk us through this facilitation of becoming what we know we need to become in order for us to reimagine what community needs to be.
Yeah. Ah, that's so good. That's so good, Letty, because and I've been in that place too where if it was like it's somebody else's responsibility, right? Like let me be vulnerable, let me be real, right? Like, and I know I'm not the only person who's felt that. It's like, okay, how come we don't change this or how come we don't have this? And it's like, and I have said it on this podcast because now look, now the light is on, Letty. Okay, let me tell my coach, y'all. Let me be real with my coach. The light is on. That wait a minute, if it's something that I'm paying attention to, if it's a frustration point where there's obviously something in me, look at her looking at me, y'all. There's something in me, right? And not, and it doesn't mean I've had to tell myself, and I believe this will resonate with you and others who are listening, our guests or our audience or whatnot, our community. I love y'all. That you're not alone. Like when you are courageous enough to step out and do whatever it is, that frustration point that you see, God's gonna bring the other people and you like, oh, and they'll say, oh, I've been doing this work, but come on, let me walk with you, let me show you what we're doing over here. So what you're doing, I feel like is opening the door to say, hey, this is not just for not just we need the CEO, we need the CFO, we need the ED, right? We need we need the president, we need the but this is a everybody
Yeah, we need you.
responsibility.
We need
We
you,
need
right?
you,
We need you.
and
And
you
not
need
to
you.
say, and you need you, and you
Yeah,
need you. And it's not to say I don't I don't have the expectation that your contribution is going to be the same as my contribution.
yeah, yeah,
What I'm saying is that we each have a contribution,
yeah.
right?
That-
You don't have to be on the front lines because I'm on the front lines.
right, right.
But I should be able to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, sis, this is what is happening. Where do you feel like you fit into the
Mm,
puzzle?
mm-hmm.
Where do you feel like you can contribute?
Yeah,
What is your conviction,
yeah.
right? Do you have a conviction? And if you don't have a conviction, how can you pull another sis to the table who may have a conviction, right? So my philosophy is that it ain't about just one of us, it's about all of us,
Yeah.
right? And I have lived that. I have shown that. I have proven that. Um, and I walk in that because that is a part of the responsibility. We can't be asking for more and you're not stewarding well what you already have.
They lie. We just gonna take a moment. Come on, sis. That's good. That's good. I heard it say recently this way, like taking care of what's right in front of you, stewarding what's right in front of you. Mm, that's good. That's good. I'm definitely going to have the information about the master classes. I'll put that information in the show notes and the description.
Oh, bless
Um,
you.
yeah, because this is going to air on Monday. Hey, y'all, it's
Okay.
not. Yeah, happy Monday. So when do the classes start, girl?
They start May 27th.
Okay, so you're listening to this. You have 2 more days and you get started. So is it in person or are you offering virtual?
We're doing hybrid. We
Okay,
we we
hybrid. Okay.
try to do hybrid, right?
Okay.
Because that's one of our values, right? Is equity. So we try to
Mm,
make it accessible for
love
people.
it.
And we're a global company too, right?
Yeah.
And so what
Yeah.
that means is that we have people all around the world,
I
all
love
in
it.
the United States, all across the United States,
Love it.
that that respect and believe in the work that we're doing,
Hmm.
because they know that they can take it back to their own
Yeah,
communities, right?
absolutely.
And that's another dream and vision of mine is to steward us to this thing in another way of across our nation, our communities, right? Of standing up offices, like I got five on my list, five cities on my list, particularly that we are helping, to really say, okay, we got a headquarters of Gifted by Design here, our office of Gifted by Design
Yeah.
here, um, that we can really help people to heal. That's
Yeah.
that's that's it. That's it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So this is is it a fun question? No, let me ask you because and I know you and the work that you do and you do assist, okay? So how do you and I love again, I'm going back to you talking about taking that time, that intentional time at the end of the year to sit still and pray and hear, get the download so you can move forward, move the organization forward in the way it needs to move. How do you take care of you in the midst of the
Mm.
responsibilities that you have? Because I know there's a sis listening and they like, yep, yep, yep. But how am I going to take care of me? Or how should I take care of me? Because high
Well,
capacity.
you high capacity, and
Hmm.
with high capacity, there comes two opportunities, right? We have self care and we have soul care, right?
Hmm.
And each of those have to be fed. And so when we talk about self care, right? go get my nails done, get my hair done. I love fashion, right? Today I have on something from a designer out of New York. We have an office in New York. We do work in New York, and so this is, a black designer who, and if you ask me the name, I don't recall because I'm having a menopause moment. However, we can put that in show notes too. But
Absolutely. It's beautiful. I want you to like here, lift up a little bit so we can see. Are those flowers? A butterfly?
yes,
It's
flowers.
beautiful.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Um, but and it is summer here
Yeah,
in Louisville, Kentucky,
it
and I
is.
got on because it was freezing cold today.
I was gonna say we've had bipolar weather here, guys, for the last few days, but we're gonna be all
Yes, yes, yes.
right.
But through that self-care, right, it's the basic fundamentals. Go get a massage. Um, Let me say this though, because Dr. Cup is not he is self-care, but he is also soul care. And so Dr. Cup, Bruce Cup, he is just an angel to me and to so many others that I coach and consult. But he is a holistic chiropractor that is located in Eminence, Kentucky, and he really helps you with brain work, trauma informed care work. And so many years ago, God led me to him.
Mm,
And so that is very much so still a part of my journey and
yeah,
my process of making
yeah,
sure that I'm whole and I'm
yep,
healed. And he's faith based as well. And so, um, like he'll be quickly, let me lay hands on you and get the oil out and all the things. And I'm grateful for that, right? Because that's
yeah.
the type of love. Again, love is just it just comes across for it's different for everybody. But then my soul care, right, is really having my daily routines and practices of reading my Bible and my devotion. The devotion that I use every single day is Sarah Young's Jesus, not Jesus Calling, but what is it? Sarah Young's. It's about peace. Um, Another menopause moment. Okay, but anyway, just look up Sarah Young and there's
Okay,
a book on peace. Okay,
okay.
and then
We got it. We
we'll put
got
it
it.
in the message notes. Message notes. Um, but that's a part of, my devotional, my time with the Lord,
Mm,
my gratitude journal at night, every night, is absolutely necessary for me to say, what am I grateful for?
yeah.
What, inspired me? It's literally the word gift. What am I grateful for? What inspired me for the day? What fruit did I produce? Right. And then ultimately, where did I take time to really lean in and to honor people and to
Ah,
add value to people? Um, so
that was a good
that's my
nugget, y'all. Ooh, that was good.
yes, that's my soul care. My soul care,
Yeah.
listening to music and uh, really feeding what does the empath of me, what does it need
Mm,
in order for it to be in alignment so that my nervous system is in alignment, because all of that really plays a deep role in terms of meeting those five psychological needs. So that's how I love to shop. That ain't changed. I love fashion, love
yeah.
style, and that's me.
Yes, yes. You're so beautiful, sis. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So for the woman, as we close, who knows she's gifted, but she's feeling uncertain. She's heard our conversation and she's like, okay, but how do I move forward? What do you want her to remember about what you've shared so far, or anything else maybe that you haven't shared, or something maybe you haven't shared? What do you want her to remember?
I want her to remember that her gift is always valid, regardless to what season she's in.
Mm-hmm.
That her gift is always active. Um, that she don't have to shrink because she's still becoming. I think that many gifted women who know they're gifted, they're waiting for permission, perfection,
Mm-hmm.
certainty, validation. before they take an action step or move forward. And really, leadership is not about having all the answers. It's about being willing to grow and be influenced.
Yeah.
You're right. And to trust yourself, be aligned to your values, be aligned to your values, be aligned to your values. Don't just say it, activate it,
Yeah.
acknowledge it, accept it, know what it is to be aligned in your values. Know that you have a voice, that your perspective matters, your lived experience matters. Um, and that at the end of the day, we all have been called to a greater cause, a
Yeah.
greater assignment, a
Yeah.
greater
Ooh.
calling, right? And don't abandon yourself to or violate yourself to try to fit in a box with other people or for other people. And the thing is, oftentimes those people, they don't even know the box that they're in.
Hmm.
So stop giving them power. One of my pet peeves is the word deserve. I don't like when people say, "Oh, you deserve it," right? Because you're taking power away from people on telling them what they deserve.
Hmm.
That's an individual's choice and their right and their
Hmm.
freedom,
Hmm.
right? And so I think recognizing that there's a gift in language, and we have to be careful about
Yeah.
how we give power,
Yeah.
execute power, advance power. And so lead anyway, gifted sister. Lead
Come on.
anyway,
Come
gifted
on.
sister.
So good. So good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lettie Bailey-Johnson. So how can, and I'm gonna have it all in the show notes, but I want you to say out loud, how can our listeners, our viewers keep in touch with you?
Yes. So I would say, right, social media, but no, let me, because I don't use the word but. And also, and also
Yes.
my social media, my Facebook page, I can't accept any more friends. And I literally have almost 1,000 people waiting to connect with me. So I can't accept any more friends. However,
Yeah.
though, feel free to follow me, but
Yeah.
to follow me, Gifted by Design Leadership and Consulting, to follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram. Now, let me just say this.
Yes.
I am, I do the best I can with what I got. And so I tried to keep up, but I tell you, life for me is very, very full. And
Yeah.
so
Yep.
it, you might like right now, like last month, I was able to do like back to back posts because I was in a challenge. I was challenged to do that. One of my coaches challenged me. He's
Yeah.
like, you need to post more. People want to know what you're doing. They
Yeah.
want to know.
Your coach
And I
ain't
get
wrong.
that.
Yeah.
But when you travel around the world,
Right.
when you are doing the work, when you are at events, you're in community, you're doing all the things, it's kind of hard to keep up with social media.
Girl, you
And we
don't
do
have
have
a social media manager. You need somebody just to go with
yes.
you, girl. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I don't have someone that travels with me. My social media team is out of the country, so I
Okay.
do have a social media team. But it is someone I do need someone boots on the ground with me because
Period.
it's challenging.
That's gonna be
Period. Period.
2027, girl. Maybe before then. I feel like you need somebody now. So, but anyway.
Yeah. But I will say, connect with me. I love people who connect with me on LinkedIn. I get a lot of messages on LinkedIn. So
Yeah.
and I want that. And I invite that. If something I said on this podcast today resonates with you, feel free. I am not that person that I'm far removed from individuals. I'm far removed from community. I am an open book. I will always live by that philosophy.
Yeah.
And people get mad at me because they're like, my coaches particularly, and my husband, they because they like when you reach a certain level of success, people think that you should be a certain way, and I'm always going to be the way that God has gifted me to be,
I
right? And so accessible to the people, and no, I don't have endless amount of time, but I will steer you in the right direction.
yeah,
Right, I will steer
absolutely.
you in the right direction. And if I can't help you, or if it's too much for me, I'm going to pass you along to somebody who can. And that's to me how we transform the world.
Love it. Love it. And she's not just passing you along to, no, you know it's somebody she trusts, okay? And they
Yeah,
and
that's
those
true.
values align. So it'll be a good pass along,
That's
okay? It'll be
absolutely true.
a beautiful connection. It'll be the connection that you need. I know that for sure.
That's
Aligned
right.
and assigned, okay? Divine,
Yes.
aligned, and assigned. Yes, well, Letty, thank you so much. This was so good. We could keep going, but I'm gonna close us on out. So, sis, thank you for joining us as you heard Letty share how you can connect with her. And again, check the show notes in the description on YouTube and sign up for the master classes. Okay, it is open
Please.
for and to you. And let me tell you, because I start off the episode talking about the master class that I was in with Letty back in January of 2019. And I love that that memory came up because it was just a reminder of how I was being steward through you and then where I am now and the growth that is taking place and will continue to go forward. So thank you so much for listening, watching, and until next time, peace.